we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
We're red. Yeah, we're red.
We're dialed. We're live.
We're in it. We got Evanoff. The couch is full right now.
This is the most we've ever had in here.
The couch is full.
Well, hopefully, but between our combined intellect, we can be as entertaining as a single person.
Or 3X. Yeah. No, that should be good. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm trying to think did you guys reach out to us or did we? I don't even remember how we got hooked up.
I think you reached out to them.
I think I got a message from you.
Okay.
Yeah, through Instagram.
I was like, hey, man, I want to do the show. And you're like, yeah. Because it was like a couple months ago we had you booked for a while.
Yep, for sure.
So
yeah.
It's amazing where time goes. Good to have you all here.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Where was the last show that y'all ran? Or that you played?
Stanley Hotel.
Stanley Hotel.
Oh,
nice.
really? Okay.
Yeah, so that was a cool experience. All growing up around here for the most part. The Stanley is one of those places you hear about, and to finally stay there and stuff was really cool.
Okay. Oh, you guys get to stay overnight?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
We made sure to do that this time because last time we did not get to stay there.
It was part
Last
of,
year. Frozen Dead Guy Days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a music, not a festival, but a bunch of bands coming in.
It is a
Kind of.
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started in Netherlands with that weird folklore about the dead guy that was frozen. They used to parade him around town.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
it's real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it is real.
Reminds me of the
weird
scene
festival.
of The Shining when he's all frozen out
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Because isn't that like what The Shining was loosely based around?
Yeah, it's where he
Stayed and wrote
out
it.
To
Yeah.
write
That's right.
write the novel, yeah. And then while you're there, you definitely pick up the creepy vibe. Like, you can understand why it was inspirational. I think it's mostly to do with the ambiance and, like, the patterns on the carpets and the way things are arranged, but it's something unsettling.
So
Yeah.
do you think like more at like nighttime? Like you stayed the night there.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I stopped by during the day a couple weekends ago and just like had a beer at the bar, like,
Nice.
and I was trying to like open up my aura to like seeing if I could feel anything going on there, and I was all like, trying to channel it and see if I could get this to happening, and I didn't feel anything, but I don't know if the daytime doesn't work.
I don't know. All the staff, they all have different crazy stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
That's true. Yeah.
Did you anything happen at night when you guys were there? Any doors
No, I mean,
open or
yeah,
anything?
I mean, it's kind of like constantly. Like, you'll hear like a weird knock or a scream or something like that, but it's in the middle of a conversation, so you kind of like, and
Like,
it's
what
also
was
at
it?
a,
You're
at
like,
a
what was that?
concert, right? So you're like, it could be anything, right? But then it keeps happening, and then
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
after time number 3 or 4, you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Damn.
But I don't remember anything too directly. I never got touched.
You never got
Like,
touched? Nothing
no.
came out and grabbed you?
No.
That's all right, though. It's still a fun experience. I've never seen a show there, but I hear that it's a decent venue. Like comedians and
it's a
stuff
pretty
will come
nice
through.
spot, for sure.
Holds like, 300 people, something like that?
Yeah.
See, that's like the
there.
prime
it's about-
spot for me. Like when I go to an intimate show, I want it like 300 or less.
Yeah.
You know? Because then it's like that, like the Pepsi Center, or I guess it's Ball Arena now. Like seeing shows there, it's like, man, it's not the fun concert experience. I want
agree
to
with
be able
that.
to catch a guitar pick. I want to see the beer getting spit on me from the stage. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You don't get that feeling with the arena shows.
Yeah, they have to spit really far. Yeah, no, I feel that, and like the sound quality, I think there's a sacrifice
Yep.
there. Like, I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and some of our
Yeah.
favorite comedians will come through, and then it's a big deal that they're playing arenas. But then as a comedy fan, I'm like, that's not. I don't want to pay, even though it's somebody I love.
Yeah.
I don't want to go and pay and see them in a room and sit, on the
Nosebleed.
football field away from them, and
Yeah, because then you're just looking at the
watch
big
it.
screen anyway.
Exactly.
It's like, I
Yeah,
paid
exactly.
to be here.
You're staring at the screen rather than the stage.
Yeah, I don't like
And
that.
from the performer's perspective, you lose that intimacy, right?
Yep.
That like feeling of connection with the audience, and so that naturally does affect the performance. And so
The vibes are different.
I feel like that. Yeah, you feel that at those big shows.
Yeah, whenever we play Ball Arena, I'm always like, oh, we're just a little bit too far away from the people in the back.
It's horrible.
What's the biggest venue you guys played?
I mean, besides like the
Probably
festival
Levitt.
circuit, but yeah, probably Levitt Pavilion. We
Oh,
had,
yeah?
yeah, big.
That's
big
a- that's a
show
good
out
show.
there.
Yeah.
That was killer.
That was
man.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we did their free concert series. Is it 2 summers ago?
Yeah. Yeah,
It was a
that's
lot of
huge.
fun. That's on our YouTube. You can watch that set.
Oh, yeah, I think I did see that. It's like an
Yeah.
hour and 44 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
Check that out.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fun.
So it takes a lot though to like after you do it for a bit. So I'm talking specifically about performing live and like the live performance jitters, right? Like overthinking things. Now, do you guys have like moments where you feel like or like you actually do mess up and you just keep it rolling and then nobody notices?
Yeah.
So far.
So
So far, nobody's noticed.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
mean,
single
well,
note.
recovery's everything because we play with computers too, and
Yeah.
when you're dealing with especially two computers that are talking to each other, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in between that. And so when that stuff happens, we also have mics that we communicate with each other through our headphones,
okay.
our ears. So we've gotten good and we've kind of rehearsed when shit goes wrong. Like, we can talk our way through this. Don't
Nice.
stop playing. Because, like, music is weird. And as soon as, like, you act like there's a something bad going wrong, that's the only time that the audience really knows that
That's
something,
true.
like, yeah, who's the
Yeah.
DJ with the...
Grimes, that whole issue.
Grimes,
down
yeah.
at Coachella. Yeah,
She
Oh,
said to
shit.
play that off so well, but she decided to
I
tell
think
everyone.
that's a level of professionalism that kind of comes as you play more and more shows. Like, in the beginning, I remember messing up, like, triggering certain things. And it
Yeah.
was mentally, like, I was ruined.
You're like,
and
damn
then
it.
That affects the performance, and then the audience knows it. But like you're saying,
Yeah.
if you can play through it and pass it off as just part of the show, most people have no idea.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it takes rehearsal. It just takes time messing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And learning how to get through it.
Yeah.
And having the confidence in each other, like, okay, we got this. If something
Yeah.
goes, there's a hiccup, we're gonna get through it and not make a big scene about it.
We've had shows where, like, like Jake was mentioning, our two computers are working in tandem, but we've had shows where mine's gone down or JJ's gone down, and then
Someone forgets
you
the
really have to
charger.
rely on the other guys on stage to
Oh.
keep it going, make it exciting, so you can, like, totally switch
You're like
halves of your
troubleshooting over there
brain
on the
and-
side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
but so there's not like lyrics going off. So then you're like talking to each other
Yep.
through like this internal comms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of our fans will ask, like, can you release music with the, like, talkback mics is what they're called. Which is
Okay.
our mics where it goes just to our ears and not to the audience.
Yeah.
And, like, people have asked, like, can we get recordings with that in the mix so they know what we're doing?
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think we were thinking about doing it for, like, a Patreon type thing.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say
for
that
the
perfect
more, like,
Patreon.
super fans, so they can hear our banter and, like, what we're saying
Discussing.
to each other. Sometimes
Talking
we're telling
shit.
stupid jokes and talking
Yeah.
shit, but usually
Yeah.
it's, like, communication to get from one section to the next.
Or to, like, figure
Yeah.
out what we want to do in the song or what song we want to play next
Yeah.
and how we want to get there.
People love that stuff, including me. Like seeing that behind the scenes,
Yeah.
or like when we do bloopers, because we do a show that's a little bit more scripted than this, and I fuck up all the time. And so it's great to release that to people because it's like, look at this
Yeah.
Yahoo. You know, you get some comedic relief out of it. Why not?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's real. People. What did what's his name say? People relate to your messes more than your milestones,
Yeah.
which is kind of true. You know, people like to watch that shit.
Yeah.
You got to own it. Full send it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that is good content too because it shows like these other layers, and that's the interesting thing about music. Like I used to like make hip hop songs and like rap and stuff. Kev used to play in a band too. Like
Nice.
so that's like what we did prior to podcasting. Like we wanted to be more heavy musicians, and like there's all these layers to music, and like sometimes I would stumble across something that really worked in a song like by accident. I would like come across it and like. It's funny how like mistakes can really lead to awesome moments while
Yeah.
doing live performance, you know, and it kind of like tests you a little bit.
Oh, it does. Keeps you on your toes.
For sure. And I think that's like part of the musical experience is like being open to those, I wouldn't call them like accidents or mistakes, but unintentional things, and being able to listen and then adapt and react to your own mistake, or maybe somebody else did something unintentionally, and you can just jump on it. I wasn't pointing at you, JJ. I was just looking
It's like
at
when you mess up, it really opens us up to all these new possibilities. Happens all the time.
Yeah, he makes beautiful mistakes, and I ride that way.
Happy accidents.
Happy little accidents, Bob Ross
yeah,
would say.
I think it's
Yeah.
part of that, and part of like earlier when we were talking about making a mistake on stage and recovering. It's like if you just accept it and can play with it in the moment, then maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe it was a new idea that you didn't know you had until you played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time, or one of our live shows, which I think you were at, I used to play with a band called the Ridge Runners. We were like kind of country rockish. We call ourselves Farmageddon, Cowpunk. We had all these weird names. But, you know, I wasn't paying attention to the set list, and I literally played the whole next song like a full step lower than the rest of the band, and nobody noticed. Like, I was able to just pull it off, just strumming that guitar. People were like, I guess that's what it's supposed to sound like. And it was, when we listened to it back, I'm like, Jesus, I got to tighten up next time.
I mean, we're all our own worst critic when it comes to all the
absolutely.
creativity stuff. But I mean, you're still doing it, right? Like so, like everyone has like a passion and a purpose in life. You know, do you all three feel like making music is like your purpose, or is that part of your purpose?
Good question.
I for me, I feel like it's a default state at a certain point, like, getting older and then re-examining my relationship with music as a profession. I was like, well, if this is what this thing does, if I stepped out of myself completely and just objectively saw this person who takes these actions and has these habits, I'd be like, oh, this is a music creating person. Like, that's what they should do, because I'm obsessed with it. I won't do anything else, or if I have free time, that's what I'm going to spend it on. So it's like, I shouldn't fight it.
Yeah.
If it comes more easily to me to work on this than it does to do anything else, then I'll use that as my guide, I guess. But in terms of purpose, is that purpose, or is that just...
I don't
tough
know.
question.
I feel that sense of purpose when we're performing and stuff like that, or specifically when we can see our actions really affecting other people in a positive way.
Yeah.
And then especially when it comes to the part of like people reaching out to us and telling us how our music has actually changed their life and actually affected them in like a positive way when they've gone through dark times. That has given me a sense of greater purpose. But out of that, it's just kind of fun. Like, it's something that's just so enjoyable that it wouldn't make sense not to do it at a certain point.
I mean, sometimes I feel like music chose me in a way, because it was like started at a really early age, and then my parents kind of nurtured that passion, which developed into something. And there was times in my life where I like drifted away from it, and then you keep finding your way back to that. And I think the purpose, or like the sense of helping someone in a way, or like just changing someone's experience of something, I think that's really what I've been drawn to when we play shows. And it's like, it's super impactful. People come up to you afterwards and they're like, this changed my life, like this really helped me through something, is really powerful. And that's kind of the juice that keeps me going on it in a way. Yeah.
I think at our core, everybody wants to be able to have a positive effect on the world.
Yeah.
And so when you get those little tastes of that, it's like, okay, maybe I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. And those reinforcements that you are actually like having a positive impact on the community around you, I think that's always a good reinforcement.
And it's a powerful feeling, being on stage and really having people react and go crazy to yourself.
It's intoxicating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's addictive.
It's a good feeling. For sure. I remember feeling that with the band. Like, this is a little different. It still scratches that itch of like creativity, and reaching out to people, and people can listen to this tomorrow and be like, oh, you told that story, it meant something. You still get that, but there's nothing like hearing the crowd, making eye contact with people who are just rocking out to your shit. It's a really cool experience that I don't think we get. Like, even with stand-up comedy, like, you have those moments, but there's something about music that is just, it's intoxicating.
Well,
it's tremendous.
because people are like truly present in that moment. Like, they're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they might be whipping out their camera to like take a video for their future self to go back and listen to, but like other than that, they're like extremely present, listening, dancing. Like, you feel the music. It's like that presence, and like everything that I've read, like motivational wise, that's where you find life is right now.
Yeah.
And so like you're almost helping people like tap into experiencing life as it's happening, opposed to like looking to the past or thinking about the future too.
And in this really cool rhythmic way, like you can only perceive, not to get like too like Eckhart Tolle, power up now, like, but like you can only perceive one beat at a time, right? So when we're playing a song, it's like we're just feeding people one pulse of some kind of music sequentially, so that they can exist in this just pulse. That
So you read the book too. It's a great book.
Oh,
that's
a
a good
one.
one.
Everyone in here has read that?
We've all read it.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly trying to practice that. So I'll be like, I like to go on walks and move around. Like, I need that. But I think about that line where he's talking about, or the author's talking about how you're like outside, you're focusing on your breath, you feel it, and then like you look at the field and there's like hundreds of thousands of blades of grass and like all these insects like living and dying, like all this life, and life is around us, and like it's like this beating pulse, which is, it's cool, and it sounds like, and I'm 420 friendly and stuff, but like there's a value to this, even if you're like straight sober, like, appreciating and making a conscious effort to notice it, because in the modern society and atmosphere, like there's so many people like just stuck on their phones, and like even in the elevator, like I'm always in an elevator for some reason, and like sometimes people will like pull out their phones in the elevator and they're not even like looking at an email, they're not even like texting anybody back.
I've done that
it's
before,
the safety
man.
zone.
I grabbed my phone out and with no agenda, nothing to do. I've swiped through it.
Like why?
Like, what am I doing
it's
here?
Super addictive.
Totally. But it's. I think the mind is looking for something to occupy itself, and it's easier to default to to this than to, I don't know, sit in the void for
People
a
don't know how to
second.
be bored anymore, I think, is the thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much shit that can happen on there. Games, YouTube videos, music. Like, it's an instant cure for boredom. Rather than just sitting in the moment and be like, you know, I'm just going to watch the world go by, you know?
Yeah.
And then being in a creative field, it's like boredom is the soil that creativity comes from. You know, like that's where the ideas come from, or like that random thought or that song that pops into your head when you're not doing something else. So I've been trying to be more mindful about it and not reaching for
always
the
difficult
hypno
to get to
square.
this.
You know?
Yeah.
The hypno square.
Yeah.
The hypnosis, that's
That's
what it is.
good.
We're probably all,
Binky, hypno
we're all
square.
guilty of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll like close an app and then reopen it. I'm like, what am I doing?
All the
I just
time.
left this app.
Yes, I know.
Absolutely.
All the time.
It says a lot though about our current state of society that like we can't cope with our own mind, as in we need something to pull us away from what is actually going on in
It's
here.
kinda
That we're
scary.
so uncomfortable just being present and being like bored per se, that we're constantly finding some way to distract ourselves from that.
And I don't know if it's a need. I think it's just like it feels better, or like we have more serotonin release when we are scrolling on that than when we're not. And I think because of that and because of its access, it's like, well, why would I be present with myself? It's like, this feels way better.
Well, that being said, like I don't even think people are thinking that deep into it.
No,
like, it's
exactly.
just like
yes.
happening.
Life just passes by. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a knee-jerk reaction to go for the
Yeah.
phone. We see it a lot. Like going to a restaurant. I love going to restaurants and eating by myself. Sitting at the bar, whatever. Old school, like meeting new people. You're at an
Yeah.
airport, whatever.
Yeah.
And doing that without your phone, like, it's eye-opening. You just look around the room, and you see people on dates, you see buddies hanging out, and they're all just looking at their phones. It's like, man, we're here to
Even when they're
socialize.
with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like looking at their phones, having a meal.
Yeah.
It's like, how did we get here?
You do got to give them the first 5 minute, like as like they're looking at the digital menu. Right.
Yeah, there is that.
like so you have that like
There is that.
but beyond the first 5 to 10 minutes after orders have been placed, like we should be present in some conversation here and
Yeah.
actually like having a good time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like texting dates is a thing now. Where
Texting dates?
Yeah, people will like, you know, they get together in person, whether it's at a park or a, you know, coffee or whatever, and they
They just
text back and
text?
forth. But it's like a thing.
Ooh.
Another thing I would do,
So they're sitting in person,
texting.
and so it's like I would text you guys right now. And then-
Wait, who's doing this? Is this a
This
thing?
is a new
Yeah,
podcast
I mean-
style,
Maybe that's what you're seeing at the restaurants. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just
People are
the
texting
texting
dates.
out, you know?
Yeah, I think it's more of the younger generation. Like I'm in my mid-30s, so you know, I'm fortunate that I was out of high school when Facebook became a thing
Yeah.
and all that. I didn't have any of that shit. Didn't even have a smartphone then. So these young kids, that's like all they know, right? They're born with a device in their hand,
Yeah.
constant. So I guess the one good thing that benefits both of us, or all of us, I should say, is, you know, the phones put the music in their ears, right? So they can hear your music, and they can watch us on their phone on YouTube. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's all about the control. So you guys seem to be taking some awesome electric songs and like putting this rock and roll mix on it.
Badass.
Where do you like? How do you pick the song? And is there like certain rights that you need to get to in order to like make a like essential like remix or like because I was wondering about that.
Yeah, you're talking about the covers or releases
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing that for a minute, the idea of, like, taking these timeless kind of electronic songs and putting our rock twist on it. And
Yeah.
the technicality of like, how to go about that isn't as complicated as it may seem. Through most distributors, you can purchase a mechanical license, which allows you to cover a song. So
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So we're not sampling, so we don't need to do all that. That gets complicated.
Yeah.
You have to secure
Yeah.
the rights to the sample. We're technically just covering a song, just like an acoustic singer-songwriter would cover like a pop song or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's way easier if you do all the work to just recreate the song
Yeah.
than dealing with the repercussions of sampling it down the
Okay.
road.
Yeah.
Or the money it costs to clear a sample.
Yeah.
Huh.
So just remake everything, and which is a really cool learning experience. Like we've learned so many production techniques, but like getting into the nitty gritty and the minutia of like this one sound and this one beat, and then you end up learning a lot from it. So it's been really great. But now we're putting out Reflections later this year, which will be a collection of a bunch of covers that we've performed live. But now we've taken it into the studio, polished up, and thrown it on a CD or thrown it on a Spotify album.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it all kind of started, we were doing these curated shows at the Larimer Lounge, like, when was the first one, like 2019 or something?
2019 was the first one.
We called it Evanoff's Electronic Orchestra.
Yeah.
We got all these incredible musicians from around the city. We had like an 11, 12-piece band, and we were covering these very well-known EDM songs,
Yeah.
but with like a full orchestration, singers, horns,
Yeah.
percussion, all
Violin.
this stuff.
That's
Yeah.
epic though.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it was
that
awesome.
so much fun.
And so
man.
we did that once a summer for a couple years in a row, and then we started playing those songs as a band. We were on tour, and The thing about a cover is that when you give somebody a little taste of something they know, they latch on. So when we would end a show with like our Dead Mouse cover, like our Pretty Lights cover, people would just like go nuts because you give them that little taste of something that's nostalgic and kind of cathartic for them, but then you put this other twist on it and people fucking love it.
It's like scratching. It's like when you scratch an itch and then there's like that itch right next to the itch that you're scratching that's way better. And you're like you didn't realize it was there until you started scratching in the first place.
That's an interesting analogy, but I get it.
I like that.
You're like, oh shit, like that feels great.
Yeah.
No, that's cool because even I was sharing your band with one of my coworkers today, and I already mentioned this to y'all, but he pulled it up and he was like, "Oh, cool, they got this kind of song remix," and then he's like started playing it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm feeling this right now." So it's cool when you can make that kind of movement with music, right? Like because music, like I was mentioning earlier too, like. You know, I've been kind of into like African and like, you know, South American type of music, and I don't necessarily know all that language, but I'm still vibing.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to know the language to be able to like feel the essence of the music.
Totally,
yeah.
Tap your head to the tempo
So
or
it's
whatever.
like this universal language almost.
Yeah, I mean, singing is feeling first and lyrics second. I mean, lyrics are very important. I'm definitely like if a song has, you know, shitty or nonsense lyrics, I'll tap out, like, you know, in terms of my interest, but, like, it's feeling first, and there's people all over the world that listen to English music, but they can still get the vibe and the feeling, and shit, I listen to English music, like, rap and hip-hop stuff that I don't understand what they're saying, but, like, and I can listen to it 4 times in a row and be like, I still don't know what he's saying in the chorus, but I love it every time he says it, man, like, it has that energy, you know?
Yeah, I definitely feel that with rap and hip-hop. It's like, I don't know what this guy's talking about, and I didn't grow up in the hood, but it's decent. It sounds good on my speakers.
Or rock or Latin music. It's like any of it. It's like
or
at a
country
certain
music.
point, unless you're, you know, a music fan. I remember being young and like, you know, opening up a CD jewel case and like pulling out the lyric sheet on the inside and reading through all the lyrics.
See,
like,
that was cool back then.
I miss the 90s, man.
And that's one way to connect with it, but I liked the song before I did that. You know, before I knew what all the lyrics was, I still loved the song and I knew the feeling it gave me. So I think that's the more important part.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Do you ever have those times where you finally hear the lyrics to a song that you thought they were saying something different the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, I just rewrote my whole childhood. You know, I was like, damn it, I've been saying this wrong the whole time.
It's Life in the Vaseline?
Yeah. Flies in the Vaseline.
Oh my God.
There's a good example.
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots. Old STP. Yeah, that's funny. I'm sure everyone can relate to that.
So like, all right, you talked a little bit about creating and like making music a lot, and then stopped a couple times. And I know you mentioned this specifically. Did you feel like you like got a little depressed, like when you weren't creating as much? Or
that was like a journey from when I was like 4 years old till now.
Okay.
And you know, like going through high school, it's like you're pushed and pulled in different directions. But music always came back to me. And you know, actually, I take that back. It was like I would focus on drums for a period of time, and then production kind of came into my life, like. Sound design, electronic music came into my life when I was about like 14 or so, and so that kind of took over my passion for drums. And I think that's more of the balance. It's not necessarily like stop creating music, but it's like, oh, there's other ways to make music, or there's other things I can find joy in that's around music itself.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Because like I was making a lot of music, and then I got out of my creative mode for years.
Yeah.
And like I kind of was getting depressed, like when I wasn't creating. And then like we started this project back up, and I was like, it took me a while to like get comfortable creating again. It was weird.
Well, it's a commitment too, as you guys know. You got to rehearse, you got to show up. I mean, band-wise, it's a commitment weekly to do the shows, do the production, to put it out, to find the guests. And most people are like, you know what, that's just a lot of work I don't want to do, especially when there's not a lot of compensation involved in the beginning and you're just trying to get the thing going, doing it like you all mentioned because you love it.
Yeah,
It's
or
fun.
you're just like, you got this tick, this itch that you can't stop scratching. You're like, I got to do this today because I have time to do it today. You just keep showing up for it until it's like going fishing. I use that analogy a lot. You just have to have time to sit down and fish for it. But I totally understand what you mean, and I definitely do have like a bit of like I value myself based on my productivity, which isn't very good. I should focus on like the practice of doing it, but I definitely I've had times like this month, for instance, I've made like 3 or 4 tunes when I just had like a run of making 3 songs a week for a while. And then so I looked back on my projects from this month and I was like, oh my god, the last cool thing I made was April 9th, you know. And so I kind of like judged myself for that and kind of got down. But then if you use it as a motivator to get back in there and go fishing, then I guess it's a good thing.
I like the fishing analogy.
You can't force the muse though. Like sometimes like the creative gene is not as prominent, and then it like comes back sometimes. It's like it's hard to like when you're performing and you've already created the songs, like that's the different type of art. But when it's actually coming to the creation process, like sometimes it just like when you were saying like when you're doing nothing is when you have the growth to create or something. Like I like that. But it's interesting how like there's times where you could have like a high octane creative month and then like you kind of fall off and like get a little recluse.
Yeah.
You know?
It ebbs and flows a little bit.
Yeah.
Because one thing you can force to practice, like if you get yourself just to sit down and put something down, probably not going to be great every time. But you know, you'll get quicker at creating ideas. You'll get quicker at your workflow. You'll create sounds or samples that you can reuse in projects later that might be a lot better. You know, I think every time you sit down to do it, you're bettering your future and your success within it.
Yeah, I would even say the good stuff doesn't come out unless you put out the shit before it.
Yeah,
Like, I know for myself, when I get out of the momentum of like producing and writing consistently, I know, because I've been through this multiple times, it takes me about 9 days of consistent production to get one good song out. By day 9 or 10, it's starting to come back and getting some good ideas flowing. But if I don't put those 9 days of absolute garbage in, like stuff I look back and like, oh my god, that's just horrible. You never get to the good stuff. It's about the practice. It's about showing up. And it's about momentum. You're never going to get to that place unless you start building that momentum. So the showing up, even if it's like 5 minutes, just sitting down with your instrument or making an 8-bar loop or something, that is almost more important than the days where it really comes together.
Or it's like the Thomas Edison thing, like make something you don't like, and then you're like, all right, that's something that doesn't work. I tried that, and that's an idea that doesn't work. That's a fine. I try to, and I'll encourage my students to do this, or other musicians too. It's like I'm auditioning my own ideas. Not like judging the work that I'm making as like a reflection of myself, but like, let me try this. Does that work for me? No, it doesn't work for me. All right, the idea's gone. It doesn't have to be there doesn't have to be a strong connection with how I feel about myself to make the art. I'm just like, let's audition it. If these ideas work together, then great. If they don't, then move on, make the next thing. But yeah, just sitting down, having fun casting, not worrying about catching anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And
You there with experience.
I love fishing. Big fisher.
Fishing season's here, man. I'm excited.
I love fly fishing. Like
Do you fly fish?
Oh yeah, catching a fly. It's hard. A lot of people think it's hard.
With chopsticks? Or they
No,
call them chopsticks?
I use the rod and reel, but then if you whip it just right, you can catch a fly.
I wonder if that's ever been done.
Has to have been.
Yeah, not by me. I'm not.
Like
I'm
a
not
bug,
very good at
a
it yet.
random bug is just like around the pond in the mountains, and
I
like
caught a bat fly fishing once.
a bat.
A bat.
Really?
Yeah, went after the fly and got its wing
Oh my
stuck
God.
on it.
And you reeled him in?
Well, I mean, he was flying around, and I didn't want to get him too close, just because bats, you know, they carry a lot of diseases, and it was kind of freaky, actually.
Damn.
I wasn't the biggest fan of bats.
Where was this?
This was in Greenville, Maine.
Okay.
All right.
Because there's bats here.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm from New Hampshire. There's a lot of bats. back
Okay,
in the
yeah.
way. You know, they'd be like up in the barn or up in the,
Oh, yeah.
you know, up in the attic. There'd be this bat flying. You just hear it. You know, just kind of
Yeah.
wait for it to die. I'm not going up there to let that thing out. Bats always kind of freak me out.
Yeah, they are. They're
Where in New Hampshire?
Central New Hampshire, so like Lake Winnipesaukee. I don't know if
Okay,
you're familiar
nice.
with
Oh,
it.
cool.
What about Bob?
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
No. Sorry, there's a classic Bill Murray movie, What About Bob?
Oh,
And,
okay.
This
Yeah.
therapist goes up to Lake Winnipesaukee for the summer.
That's
And he's trying to track him down. He's like calling him on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, having a fun time in Martha's Vineyard, Martha's Vineyard, right? Or at Fire Island." And then finally, he's like, "Oh," he finds out he's in Lake Winnipesaukee.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's weird. If you break down the plot,
premise.
it's pretty messed up because it's more about like a psychopath who's like stalking his therapist, but it's a good watch. It's really
Wow.
fun.
If it's got Lake Winnie in it, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
That lake's been in a lot of movies.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they've done some filming there. A lot of people think Grown Ups was filmed there, but it wasn't. Grown Ups was filmed in somewhere in Massachusetts on another lake, but it's supposed to be a spin-off of Lake Winnie. Great fishing up there, though.
Yeah.
That's where I learned how to
Nice.
fish, was on Lake Winnie.
Oh, cool.
We
yeah.
actually play in New Hampshire pretty often.
Manchester.
Manchester.
Oh,
Manchester,
Manchester.
Vegas, baby. No, we have
Manchester.
a lot of great fans out there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
markets that, like, you start touring and you don't necessarily know where your stuff's really going to resonate with people, and then there'll be these random cities where people like it goes really well, and then you just end up going back over and over again. But I don't know if I would have ever ended up in Manchester if it wasn't for that.
It's a fun town, man.
Oh, it's super fun, man.
Yeah.
The people
Crazy.
there are so much fun.
They're characters too. That's what I love about New England. Everyone's a character. They got the accent. Everyone's a big personality. That's just New England. What about Mass? You guys play Boston or any of that area?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
I grew up in Newburyport, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
So my family's still there. So a lot of times, just because the Northeast is so dense with different cities and markets, we'll post up at their house and then go and do weekend runs up and down the East Coast.
That's fun.
Which has been super helpful.
So where's the best food?
Whoa.
What kind of food?
Like, I don't know. What kind of food would be your best?
Best food?
Yeah,
What's
like
the best
For me, it's
food, man?
Texas, but I like barbecue.
In general, it's Asia. that's I'm calling it.
Just that landmass.
I'd say
that
New
continent.
York. Like whenever
Yeah.
on the road, like
okay.
yeah, just because you have like I don't know if you think about it, it's like the densest populations of all the different
Cultures,
like
and-
ethnic cultures
Yeah.
from around the world, and they're there just making their authentic food, and so you can get like just the noodles, like that noodle place in Chinatown
Yeah.
is just like
Asian.
fine. Yeah, so, but it's cool. I mean, there was a tour we ate so much pizza because we were in Chicago.
I love pizza.
Okay.
Ate like all sorts of different types of pizza in Chicago, and then we were in
Oh, the
Detroit in the fucking
Yeah, deep
square
dish.
can.
Had to try
Oh
that.
man, and then we were over in New York.
Yeah.
So out of the
And
three,
Connecticut.
yeah.
They're
See,
so
New
different.
Haven, Connecticut's my favorite.
Style.
New
New Haven style
bro.
rips.
That's where it's
No
at.
doubt,
right?
man.
No doubt.
See?
Clam pizza.
Clam
Clam
pizza?
pizza?
Clam pizza?
Yeah, the white sauce and clams
okay.
on
Oh,
top.
I mean,
It
that's,
sounds
It's a
wild.
very-
but it's
yeah.
that
great.
sounds very, very East
It's
Coast
good.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super good. Car driver shout out. Downtown in Denver has a pretty solid, authentic
Great
New
clam
Haven
pizza.
clam pizza.
I'm gonna have to go because I've been kind of pulling a Dave Portnoy and trying to find the best pizza. And
Nice.
like, I don't do chain pizzas anymore. I want mom and pops. Give me the best shit you got. Not,
Yeah.
you know, what's cool about New York is you get the dollar slices or whatever. But those old rundown buildings that have been there forever, it's like the best pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a special thing about New York is dollar slices everywhere.
Every corner.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know another city in the States that has something like that.
And I think, I don't know, the pizza culture and stuff, it's basically, okay,
And
you take like
bagels.
a genre
bagels,
of
yeah.
something, and like you can go so deep into it, and people get so good at perfecting these simple things. I think that is what is beautiful about food, is you take these simple concepts and you just go really deep into making it as good as it can be, and like,
Yeah.
because it's only a few ingredients, but it's like they source the highest quality stuff, and there's so much intention and love that go into making the best possible version of that. And I think pizza's a good example of that. Same with like tacos.
Oh, tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love tacos. Where's the best in the country for that? I'm gonna
Mexico.
Federal.
say
Yeah.
Federal Boulevard.
I'm gonna say San Diego, just out of my experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty close to the border. They know
Yeah,
what they're doing.
San Diego's got good Mexican food.
I
Like,
spent enough time in California. Had some really good tacos in Vegas, though.
really?
Interesting.
Were they like fish tacos or just beef?
No, Al Pastor.
Nice.
Al
And it was
Pastor, okay.
legit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
right off the
Did
spit.
they have a?
They
had a
cut it
spit?
off, yeah, and then it
Nice.
was.
That's good shit.
I like El Pastor. That's my jam.
That's good
Tacos.
stuff. Street tacos.
Yeah.
My favorite. Carne asada. Get the cilantro and onions on there.
Yeah.
Simple.
Getting hungry now, boys.
Yeah, just
Gonna
some.
get something to
Yeah, I
eat.
don't know why pizza. Like, did you guys get sick of pizza when you had it like for months in a row?
The third week, yeah. The
Like,
third
repeat
weekend,
it
I
out.
was
Took a
out.
little
You're like,
I was
okay.
tapped out.
Okay,
My
yeah.
body was sick of it, but
Yeah.
I wanted it.
Yeah.
Just crave more of it. I know. It's like an addiction. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
love
I've had
carbs,
pizza rolls
too.
in my pockets ever since that tour. I just snack on them every once in a while. I get a little itch.
That's great. Well,
So the Totino's pizzas, I was just gonna say those old school like
I don't like those.
Those are bomb. I think
I
those
just
are
don't
good.
like them.
I don't mind a frozen pizza every once in a while, man. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The home run in.
spot.
The home run in is probably the best in frozen pizza, I would say.
Those are bougie frozen pizzas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good
What
stuff.
the
They're
home
heavy.
run in?
They're
They're
thick.
heavy. If
Home
you
run,
if
yeah.
you eat a
Chicago
whole
style.
home run pizza to yourself, like you are gonna visit the porcelain multiple times the next day
Yeah.
for sure.
See, that's the thing. Is it all comes down to the toppings. Like I've gone back to the roots now. Cheese pizza.
Yeah,
if
man.
you can make a good cheese pizza, like toppings, you're just adding to it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's take it to the roots and taste the cheese.
Yeah.
That's my go-to. Maybe margarita pizza if I'm
good
feeling
mark.
fancy. But
So have you ever been to Asia? Have you like had authentic Asian food in Asia?
No, I haven't. But I'm a big supporter of the local Asians for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I eat Asian food a couple times a week. My wife said, tremendous cook, but that's like the one thing that we can't do as well as the people who've been
I
studying
see.
it for thousands of years. So I'm always eating Asian food.
So
So
what part
funny-
of I was going to dive
Go
into
ahead,
the
yeah.
Asian food here. So like Korean food, Japanese food, Vietnamese.
Mostly Vietnamese
I do like the
and
Vietnamese.
I guess like Indian and Thai food.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
Like pho.
Yeah.
You-
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
the pho's good. It's made with like 127 herbs and spices.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
takes
a lot.
while
That's a
to
lot of
do.
spices.
It's the broth.
Yeah, that's
It's
everything.
more than Dr. Pepper.
And then you put like the hoisin and the sriracha in there, and that's like sacrilegious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You get
I
a
like to
little
keep
spicy.
it on the side, and
Yeah.
generally,
You
like
gotta
you gotta
dip it.
taste the broth first. And
That's
make
a
sure,
good
like,
call.
Yeah,
is it
instead of
good on its
defaulting to
own?
just, like,
Yeah,
dumping
you can't just
poison in
dump
it.
Yeah.
it in like that, man.
Yeah,
That's
no, the
true.
chef will be shaking their head. I got a funny story about Thai food.
Oh, is this the good?
Yeah,
Was
so-
I there for this?
Yeah, so
this is a good
Kev
story.
was there for this. So, we're out at a bar marketing, and like we meet some people, and we're like handing out stickers and shit. And then they're like, yeah, we have this Thai restaurant right here. It's like really close. You guys should come check it out. And we're like, yeah, we'll totally do that. Do our Instagram video, help promote. Trying to do our thing. And so I had like recently become like a big fan of like this like green curry fried rice. It is like a specific
Sounds
dish at one of my favorite Thai places. So I'm just like, every Thai place should be able to make this green curry fried rice, right? And so we go into this restaurant, and I asked the owner who we met at the bar, and I was like, do you got green curry fried rice? And she's like, oh, we can make that for you. Like, that's something we can make, but it wasn't actually on the menu. And then so we go in to actually go try this place out. And
I got something that was on the menu for the record.
yeah, Kev gets something that's on the menu, and then they come to order to me, and I'm like, yeah, can I have like green curry fried rice? And they're like, huh, that's not on the menu. And like I had to explain it, and like you like have fried rice, and then you like put green curry in it or something. And they're like, we don't have that. I'm like, well, I had the owner's name in my head, and I'm like, well, she said that y'all could do it. And then next thing I know, I'm like looking over, like she goes back to put in the order, and then like it was like a female chef. She's like leaning around the wall, like looking out, like who in the fuck is ordering this green curry fried rice bullshit? And she's like getting pissed,
She
right?
thought it was me.
Yeah, she thought it was Kevin, so she was hating on Kev.
She like threw it in front of me. Was like, eat it.
Yeah, and then he like moves it over to my side, and then she's like looking at me. So she was mad that she was making it, first of all, and then when she brought out the dish, she like stood there and like needed to watch me try it in front of her and like give her the thumbs up. So she's like standing there like looking at me, being
my
like,
God.
eat this green curry custom fried rice, you fucking white person.
Was-
It was hilarious.
How was it?
It was delicious. Yeah, she
Nailed
did,
it.
Yeah, she did a great job. But I'll always remember that, like the cook just standing there, like staring at me, like how dare you, and like use the owner's name to get this custom dish made.
That was funny.
That was
I forgot
hilarious.
about that.
That was hilarious. Man.
Yeah. Now I want green curry. I want all the things. This is what happens when I talk food.
It always
Yeah.
happens. We're recording around dinner time.
So
Yeah.
what's your favorite Thai spot that you get the green curry fried rice at?
It's
Thai
Thai Diamond off of Kipling and Colfax. So it's
Thai
like
Diamond,
in
okay.
What is that?
Okay.
West? What is that? Lakewood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Lakewood.
like in the
It's like
Lakewood
just north
area.
of 6th, right?
Mhm.
You get off on 6 on Kipling. It's right there.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
they're closed on Sundays, I believe.
I don't know. I went there once and they were closed.
Yeah, they're
There's
like-
a weird thing about Asian restaurants being closed on Sundays because I always am craving like uncle or like Thai food, and it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday or Monday?
It's like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
closed on
Monday
Sundays.
too.
Yeah.
Mondays,
one.
I've
Asian
noticed that.
food?
Yeah, that,
Asian food, but then they stay open on like Christmas.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like religious based.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. That's interesting.
Maybe they analyze the market. They realize that people don't eat out as much on Mondays.
They're really
maybe.
into data.
They
Just
are.
analyzing
And
That might be a
so-
good point.
Yeah. Close
just
on
had the
Mondays. That's the
weekend.
weekend.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That might be the reason.
Well, and also like if you're smart, they're an entrepreneur, right? So they get to make their own hours. And who doesn't want a weekday off? So then you can actually do real errands.
Yeah.
It's like
Right?
going to the DMV.
Totally.
Yeah, like go to the
That's
DMV,
a
stuff
Monday
like
thing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So taking it back, let's tell the story of Evanoff
Yeah, man.
and how you guys got to here. Because you said 2015.
That's when I joined the band.
Yeah, it started as a solo project. So I was just like DJing, pushing buttons,
Okay.
and playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd always wanted to turn it into a band because I grew up playing in rock bands. I think a reoccurring theme amongst all of us is we come from like rock music and metal
Yeah.
music, and that's like
Okay.
our roots. So we'll get to how that's obviously is implemented into what we do now. But we all come from that. So I started doing that and wanted to turn into a full band instead of just being a DJ. So found some kids around Boulder, joined the band, and we started playing gigs. I had a friend who like was trying to break in the music industry and like kind of be our manager. So we were working together making that happen. Eventually, our drummer didn't really want to like tour and do the actual thing. So then I was at school at CU Denver, where
Yep.
these guys happened to be as well. I made friends with this guy in our music something. What was it? Some
Music theory.
I think it was business. I think you guys had a music
The
business
history.
class.
Greg Walker's music history class.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I know a great drummer." And they were roommates freshman year in that
No, all
college.
throughout college. We
All
lived
throughout
together.
college. So then hit up Jake.
Yep.
Jake joined the band. A couple years later, our bass player left. Replaced him with another bass player. He left in the middle of a tour, so we ended up turning Evanoff into a duo thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then Brendan joined the band.
Yeah.
And then from that point on forth, the dynamic of the band and the like styles changed a bit because it opened up what we were able to do electronically.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, like we are like a live electronic trio. So a lot of what we do is like live production, like on the nose in real time. And Brennan's setup allows us to do that because he's able to loop like wompy basses and different key patches, and then I'm able to loop my stuff over that, and so we can compose music in real time with the technology we have running.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Now,
that is cool.
is it do you use Logic or like what is your software?
Ableton.
Yeah,
Ableton
we
for the
perform with
live
Ableton.
stuff. Yeah.
I produce in
Okay.
Logic. These guys use Ableton.
Ableton,
But for what we
yeah.
do
Okay.
live, it's all Ableton because that allows us to connect my computer to his computer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of the only piece of tech that really allows that to happen in that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so
Interesting.
Ableton has this thing called Ableton Link, which allows computers to be tempo synced to each other. So
Oh,
their,
that's
their
cool.
clocks are
Yeah.
always in sync, or they'll adjust. But then they also have a suite of like programming things you can do called Max for Live, where you can basically hack Ableton. Anything that it doesn't do natively, you can force it to do, or you can have computers respond to each other. So if he triggers a certain song with a certain scene name, then it'll change patches or volumes on my computer.
Wow.
So yeah, our computers are basically talking through Wi-Fi the whole show.
Okay. And so you don't actually like hard connect, like wire those two together. It's done like through Wi-Fi.
We bring our own router, and that sits with our mixing board,
Yep.
and then we can connect with that. It's just more stable than using like the venue's Wi-Fi.
We
or-
used to use the venue's Wi-Fi, but they would go out sometimes, so we started bringing our own router.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
We've gone through a lot of tech hiccups over the year because our setup's not like super simple, so it's been a process of learning how to be able to do it on the road without fail.
And keeping it as simple as you can while also having all the tools you need.
Right.
I guess that's the name of
Yeah.
the game. So are you pulling all your gear behind a bus or?
A nice Toyota,
Toyota
Highlander
Highlander.
with the
All
trailer
right.
on the back.
Trailer.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we're
It's
a
rig,
hybrid.
man. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Environmental friendly. I like
yeah,
it.
man.
Half the time.
No, we get good mileage,
That's
which
good.
is helpful.
No, that's the way. When you guys are traveling like that, you need something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So
it
you
does a
go-
trick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's solid. You can fit a lot of clowns in that clown car. Like, it's small, but it is really fun, like showing up with a compact rig and throwing like a big party in different cities every night
Yeah.
when we're on tour.
Yeah. And you just take shifts driving, one's sleeping, one's cruising, team
Yeah,
drive.
we do have a tour manager with us, and that helps.
Okay.
Have an extra person to drive,
Yeah.
take some hours.
Yeah,
Nice.
that way you guys can crash and get some shut eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into touring, right? Like where we're staying, where we're eating, where we got to
Yeah.
be, how much time it takes to get there. Someone's got to map
Yep.
all that. Is that kind of what he does?
Yeah.
Our booking, so our
yeah.
booking agent will handle the like tour routing and all that stuff. We have a lot of input in the markets that we want to play, the data that we have as artists of where we should play.
I'll
And-
usually do
yeah.
the hotels and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
then we've had a lot of different tour managers. So like some of them are more on top of it than others. Some of them build out like a plan where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
if the city's this far away, like this is the time we gotta leave the hotel, like that type of stuff. But usually it's more like kind of
Some of our buddies that just like, yeah, man, I can carry some shit.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Don't worry
we'll
about
get
it.
it, yeah.
No, I like to have a plan. I want to know where I'm going, what time I
Yeah.
need to be. Otherwise, I get anxiety. People are like, we're fine. We got plenty of time. Next thing you know, we're 2 hours late. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand being late. That's one of the things that's like, because when you know you're running late and you're the one driving, like there's like this added pressure to driving.
Yeah.
And like the closer that you get to the car in front of you, like the higher the pressure gets. You know, and it's like you don't want
traffic,
to
late
want to
already.
slow it down. Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
like pushing this like pressure zone of like how much am I trying to get this person out of the way, and you know that's why running early is always like I would rather sit there and wait. I'm a hurry up and wait type of guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can be really tough for us just because, especially when we started touring, the first agent that we had just really didn't understand that like doing a 9-hour drive
Before
after
loading in to play a show.
after playing a show the
fuck.
night before that was like a 9-hour drive is not suitable for this shit.
Yeah,
at
then you're just
all.
exhausted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Because the nights
brutal.
are late, and like
Yeah.
after playing the show, which is exhausting.
Yeah.
Then you're loading out. Then you're getting back to the hotel. Hopefully getting
At,
to
like,
sleep by
4.
like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
4 in the
Yeah,
morning.
because you still got to wind down. Like,
Yeah.
just because you
Watch-
finished
watch some
unpacking,
South
like,
Park.
you like, got to
Yeah,
relax
man.
a little bit.
Yeah, because you're
Absolutely.
the adrenaline and everything. It's like take some time, chill out.
It's gotten a little easier though, because we used to always try to go to the after parties, because that was a way we would connect with our families.
Yeah.
We'd play a new city, people would show up and be super excited. We would solidify those fans by showing up at the after party and like connecting with them personally. Then the next time they'd bring more friends, and it would kind of like snowball. We've stopped doing that as much. We like don't go to as many after parties nowadays, and it makes it a lot easier. Because if you're at a party till 5 a.m. and then have a 5-hour drive the
Nah,
next day,
don't worry.
it's brutal.
Yeah,
Really doesn't
and then you
work.
got to load in again, play another show.
Yeah,
Right.
There's like no time.
so
Yeah.
exhausting.
Burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah,
Literally.
Yeah.
So do that for
yeah,
a couple
you'll really hurt
weekends, and then
yourself if you keep that up.
I never understood those rock like guys like Keith Richards and Al Jorgensen, all these guys in their late 70s, all the heroin, all the alcohol, the no sleep, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and they're still just like, yeah, man, rock on.
Yeah,
I
Still
have
going strong.
noticed that the musicians that get older and continue doing it end up with absurd health regimens.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
To continue being able to function at that level on the road, like that many dates a year, it's like crazy. Like even some of the comedians we listen to podcasts of, they bring trainers on the road because you have to like stay sharp and stay on it, or else you're not delivering the experience that people are paying
Yeah.
for.
That's a good point because then you can get caught up in the party life, and then that's going to affect your performances and your creativity and all that. That makes sense.
yeah.
So what's like one way that you keep yourselves mentally and physically sharp? Like, do you like schedule a walk, like, or like, do you swim at like the hotel pools, or like, what's going on?
Hit the hotel gyms once in a while.
Yeah,
and,
I've been trying to do that a lot more. It's nice.
Yeah, and we will like we'll pay the extra amount to get a hotel that's just a little better. Like
Oh yeah.
Red Roof Inn, Motel 6, fucking suck.
Oh, they're horrible.
You're just
Red
not
Roof
gonna
still
get
a
as
thing?
much rest. And
out in that
East-
part of
East
the
Coast.
country. Yep.
yeah.
Red Roof.
But yeah, that little bit of extra effort, like even just getting up a little earlier and getting to the hotel gym and getting a sweat on before you have to go sit in the car for like 5-6 hours, it makes
Yeah.
a
Big
massive
difference.
Stretching,
or at
doing
least daily
yoga.
stretching. Yeah.
Yeah.
totally.
At the very
It's
least.
really big.
I drink a lot of
yeah.
vitamins.
Vitamins.
I
Supplements.
drink a lot of
Yeah,
vitamins.
'cause it's hard to eat good.
The road's like
Like we were saying, the pizza and all that, it's hard to eat
Yeah.
healthy all the time.
You
on the
get-
road.
and yeah, that's
Fast
another
food.
thing. It's like balancing that because if we do the pizza runs, man, you feel it
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
What's your vitamin regimen? What regime?
Yeah,
What
I
is
think
it?
my core thing that I bring on the road is just like a greens powder, because like I don't know what we're gonna be eating, so just getting like my minerals and like nutrition basis covered,
Okay.
and then usually some sort of like I don't know, vitamin D, vitamin C, digestive enzymes,
Yeah.
magnesium.
Good stuff.
Okay.
The basics.
Trying to cover my bases, because when you're eating in the Midwest, it's hard to find a salad. So
For real.
it's
That's
really
pretty
difficult
funny.
to find healthy food. We're so used to that here because it's part of the culture and in other cities. But when you're in the middle of like Iowa, you order a salad and it's like cheese and meat and like a little iceberg lettuce. And
Yeah,
so
man.
it's not even worth it. You just get
And it's
pizza
covered
or
in
burger.
ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah, and I think I feel like now though, as health food has become a little more trendier,
Totally.
we're finding more of it in those pockets. But definitely in the beginning, it was like there would be parts where it's just
A lot of Chipotle.
I love
Yeah,
Chipotle.
that's kind of the
Chipotle's
go-to.
are- Yeah,
Now
go-to
Qdoba
solid.
versus
Chipotle
Chipotle.
all day.
Chipotle.
Chipotle?
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
All right, I'm outnumbered here. I'm going
But
Qdoba.
they're
Because
both
the queso.
they're
The
both
queso.
Denver chains,
that's-
aren't they? Didn't they start in Denver, both of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or was
Yeah.
that Quiznos? No, Quiznos too.
Quiznos as well. Yeah.
So
yeah,
Denver's been known to create some good franchises.
Yeah.
So,
mean, the
Isn't
food
there
here's
Five
good.
Guys from here too?
Five Guys, I don't know.
good burger though.
They're expensive though.
Good burger.
Like a burger, fries,
Five
and
Guys
shake.
is and fries are always fucking separate, man.
And they're like
it
$6.
really, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like if you just get the burger, it's okay. But
They're
then
spendy.
you want fries.
Yeah.
Well, then Five Guys fries like at least you get your money's worth.
That's true.
Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
eat. You're not gonna eat the fries. You're not gonna eat all the fries.
It's too much.
Like they give you like a whole half bag.
This guy,
French
he's like,
fries?
yeah,
Love
you
French
haven't hung out.
fries.
You should do the pizza rating thing, but with French fries.
I know.
you can
Oh,
kinda
that would,
start-
I would
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah.
See, 'cause
Yes.
I like them crispy. I like crispy French fries.
Yeah.
But not too thick. I don't like the steak fries.
Yeah.
You know, there's kind of like
It's
that
a
sweet
fine
spot.
balance,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, here we go with food again.
Yeah, I know. We could talk about that all day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of our experience, like on the road. You know, we have a lot of downtime too, where it's like, well, what are we gonna do? You know, we don't have time to like really explore a museum, but we could explore some food.
Yes.
I like
A
that.
couple
we seek out
restaurants.
some pretty good restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just jump on Yelp or whatever and just see what's in the area.
We like to connect with our fans that
Oh,
way.
okay. And
It's
they're
like
like-
if we're coming to an area, we'll message them and be like,
Okay.
"What food would you recommend? Like, what's your
That's
go-to
smart.
spot?"
And
Yeah,
if we hear a place 3 or 4 times,
Yeah,
from
it's
other
like,
people,
we're gonna
like,
go
that's
there.
the spot.
Like, all right,
Yeah.
we're going here.
And it's
Yeah.
a good way to connect with the fans without pestering them. Like, hey, we're coming to your town, buy a ticket. It's like, hey, we'll be there on Wednesday. What's a good spot to eat around the venue?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's smart. That's a good move.
yeah, it works.
People like it when there's a little bit of like interaction. You know, you have to like, and that's the thing too is like we all have to have a little bit of an ego in order to, you know, create and perform, and like you have to have like that self-confidence and like that kind of stuff, right? But at the same time, like it's interesting podcasting at least, because we've talked to like celebrity chefs, awesome musicians like yourself, like just plethora of people, and everybody is essentially just like the exact same. And that's what, like, because you get like fans and people who love like what you do and they idolize you a little bit, and you're just like over here like, where would you recommend to eat?
Yeah.
That like really like brings that level of like, you know,
Humbleness.
we're equal, you know, and like,
Yeah, man.
and then when you go there, do you ever like post videos of you guys trying to place? Like, do you ever
Doing,
like
like,
do
food
like,
reviews?
Yeah.
Like, it's really good, like
Specific places.
back to New Haven Pizza in Chicago.
Peace
that
Pizza.
spot, Peace Pizza.
Pizza in
Every time we
Chicago.
go there, we'll throw it up on the story just because it's.
And
It's
they've
that
started
good.
hooking
So-
us
so
up when we
fucking
go
good.
there too,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
has
yeah.
been
We
great.
go every
Yeah.
time. It's great.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we just want to connect with fans. We often try to remind ourselves of, I don't know, like the bands that we're fans of, and what kind of relationship do we wish we could have with them.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I just want to be able to chat with them. Like some of the band members, like give kudos to one or the other and tell them that I like their playing, and them actually respond or influence some of their music in some way. So we try to make that available to fans and send them works in progress and have them, you know, give us feedback and a little direction on it. But just trying to make a fan experience that we've always
Yeah.
wanted as music fans.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time communicating
That's good.
with our fans.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way.
Yeah.
People really respect that. You know, it's not like
they're cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, in general, we've
Music
met,
fans
like, a lot
usually
of
are.
awesome people, man.
Yeah, I've met really cool people that just go into a concert. The guy standing next to me, like we're here for the same reason. We want to watch the band we both
Exactly.
like.
Shared interests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Same with food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get a little personal. So I'll kind of like lead by example here. Like, I got really into like building Gunpla. Do you guys know what that is? Gunpla?
No idea.
You know what Gundam Wing is? Like that anime?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Gunpla is the like model kits. And there's like different levels of difficulty to these model kits. And I was like getting super into building them and like doing all the panel lining and like the stickers and like making sure it was all perfect. Like, what is like a personal interest outside of music that each of you got?
He likes fishing.
We do got the fishing.
Yeah, I'd say besides fishing, both like river and deep sea for me. Honestly, music is my obsession. Like that's definitely number one. Can't turn my brain off from it. I feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm doing other stuff. Yet, board games, I fucking I love.
Like Risk? What is it?
Yeah. Oh sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Risk
What's
is
the new one
great.
you got? Is it Furry Box?
Yeah, Bears versus Babies. Anything from like the
Yeah.
Exploding Kittens game company is
Okay.
just like fun pick me up game, or like Dominion, Kingdom Builder. I'm not a big Catan guy, but you know, like things like that, like a game that's a little bit more involved, but you could break down the rules in 10 minutes to somebody and like have fun for an hour. Yeah, pretty into
good way
that.
to
Have you all
tune out.
like played board games while like the tour manager is driving?
Not on the road.
No,
No,
we should.
Not on the
Give me-
road.
During
That'd make me
COVID,
car sick.
We
Yeah.
played some games
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
We all lived together during the COVID lockdown.
Oh,
so
yeah.
led
That
to
was
some
a
board
odd
game
time.
nights.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I've said enough about that on YouTube. But all right, so you're doing board games. What about you?
I'm really into cooking and food and
My
like,
man.
cocktails and stuff like that.
Okay.
That also started during COVID. It just like I realized that it was just something I could learn how to do. And so first I dove really deep into like Italian like red sauce world, and then into Asian stuff, and then got this Anthony Bourdain's French cookbook and got really into French cooking. And then that naturally paired with learning how to make like cocktails, and the fact that I could make this stuff instead of going and paying $18 for a cocktail or like $50 for this meal at a nice restaurant, being able to do that myself and then pass it on to other people has been really, really fun. So, and then that lent itself into coffee and becoming obsessed with that, and then wine.
Yes.
And so,
Aficionado.
that world of stuff.
Yeah. That's fun, man. I'm with it for sure. I got into smoking, like not smoking, but smoking meats.
Yeah, I got into that too, man.
Well, I do a little bit of that, but smoking meats is like that's my jam.
Nice.
It's like perfecting the brisket and getting the right wood pellets and the temperature.
Nice.
It's like a whole art. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
And even if I fuck it up, it still tastes good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just might not serve it.
Yeah, my dad, my whole like paternal side of the family were like competitive barbecue guys. So I would, oh my god, just sitting around for 12 hours listening, or not listening, but smelling everything that they're making is
So good.
Well, sometimes you listen to the meat. Like
the meat speaks
yeah.
to you.
the best
It
ones
sounds
do.
good.
Yeah, that's what
It
my
speaks
father
to you.
always said. He was like, you have to listen to the meat.
You do.
Next
It'll
time
sing to you when it's ready.
Next time you do a bag of popcorn in the microwave,
Yeah, you listen to
pull
the-
it out and listen to that.
Yeah.
To the kernel or the bag?
No, to the bag. Like you listen to it after it's freshly popped in the,
You can
in
hear
the
it
microwave.
sizzling?
Yeah, it's like making all this noise, and it's like you're gonna be so delicious. Like you're like listening to
Yeah.
it. So
Well, the tempo of the pops, like the reoccurring pops, like there's a certain sweet spot when they slow down that you know it's going to be perfect and not burnt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a 5-second window sometimes.
There is.
It's like
yes.
it's burnt or it's
yeah,
good.
exactly.
I don't like when it's burnt.
you're walking that fine line. So JJ, on the cooking thing, when you're cooking, are you the type that you clean your dishes immediately as you're cooking? Like
that's a
you're
good
cooking
question.
and cleaning at the same time, or do you prepare everything and then clean all the dishes after?
It's a good question. I think it's mostly the latter, like clean everything after, but I've been trying to do a little more while it's happening, because it turns into a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
It's like a
And
war
then you're
scene.
done with your meal and you're all relaxing, like life
Yeah.
is good, and then you're like, no.
No one wants to clean up
Yeah.
after they're done eating. Like
Yeah.
it's the
But my
worst.
girlfriend and I have a good relationship where like I'll cook and then she'll like clean
Okay.
up the stuff, or if she cooks, I'll clean up the stuff.
Team
so that's
effort.
good.
I think
Yeah,
that-
team effort.
that's how it should be.
good
Yeah.
That balance right there is just that should be standard.
Yeah.
Amongst
Yes.
Yeah.
all families.
Whoever doesn't cook cleans. That just seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I try to I clean as I go because I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm a little anal about it. I'm like, this is going to be a mess later. It'll take me 30. It's hot. I got to let this cool down anyway. I
Yeah.
could probably get a spatula cleaned off.
Well, yeah, and
that's how
again,
my
the
mind works.
food comes off quicker when it's fresh. Like it doesn't like crust on there.
Oh, yeah, I don't want the crust.
You know, so it's like super easy to clean when you do it immediately. I feel like it takes less
That
time.
is true.
Yeah, and there's
That's
like
definitely true.
Bill Burr said it best. There's two kinds of people: people that do the dishes and the people that let them soak.
Right.
It's like, come on, you were just waiting for someone else to put that away. And then you got your hand in room temperature water with scrambled eggs floating around. It's no good.
This is nasty.
We've all been there, roommates and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know.
Jake, what's
Yeah,
your
what's
thing?
yours, Jake?
I say snowboarding.
Okay.
Yeah, you're pretty good
it's,
at that.
it's seasonal, but I love to do that.
Now, have you ever surfed too, or like?
Yeah, I surfed growing up.
Okay.
I'm not as good as that. I have not spent that as much time in the water as on the snow. But yeah, that was a big passion of mine for a while. I thought I was going to do that professionally.
Okay.
But yeah,
wow.
injuries and everything, music had always been there, and there were certain moments that music really shown to be a great path for me. But yeah, snowboarding, and also recently cold plunges. I really fucking
you're
into
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm-
So
I'm
how
afraid
you doing
of
that?
them.
Do you have like a bathtub at home, like a big bathtub?
I
that
have
you're doing
a
this in, or, like-
100-gallon like horse trough feeder
Okay.
thing that I fill up, and I live in Pine, Colorado, so I'm up in the mountains where
Okay.
it's like colder at night, and during the winter it's been great. I got to find a nice shaded area for the summertime, because yeah, I don't have an ice maker at the moment, and I'm
So
contemplating.
what we did is we got like silicone baking trays, like for banana bread or something. You get like 10 of those.
Yeah.
Fill 'em up with water, put in your freezer.
See,
That'll give you
yeah.
enough ice for.
Oh, that's a
I
good.
don't
That's a
have
good
that
idea.
much freezer space, so I guess I could use
What kind of benefits have you been seeing from doing these cold plunges?
a lot with mood, like
Okay.
daily mood, like when it comes to just like feeling motivated, you know, it reduces stress and anxiety when there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of clarity that comes from like the 4 to 5 minutes that you're just in there.
Okay.
It honestly feels kind of like a flow state, because like it's challenging enough to get yourself into the cold
Interesting.
water.
So you're doing 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And do you dunk your head too?
No, generally I'll keep my head out and
Okay.
and my
That
fingers
makes it
and
so much more
toes.
intense.
It
You have
does.
the head under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done it. So you've done it too?
Yeah,
we've been into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah, that's
I
fun.
would say when you get out of the plunge, especially if it's really cold and that feeling when your body starts to warm up, it's like drugs. Like, it's wild. You feel there's so many endorphins flowing. I think there's a stat. It's like it releases about the same amount of dopamine as doing cocaine.
Wow,
And
for longer.
But for way longer.
And
So you're on
yeah.
this crazy dopamine high for the next hour or so, and it's just blissful.
So
You
it
can
could
really
be
feel it.
good for like people recovering or like trying to
Hell
get
yeah.
off
Yeah.
substances.
Get
Oh,
sober.
absolutely. Yep.
That's something to keep
Yeah.
in mind.
Or alternatively, I've been in like hot showers and then just doing cocaine the whole time in the shower. And you can stay in there for a lot longer because you're sweating anyway. So.
Yeah, that'll get the heart rate up.
You get out, you feel great, ready to start the day.
Hot
Yep.
shower and cocaine. Oof.
You get rid of the drip immediately. There's no clogging.
yeah,
You're doing it like
steam.
that. Yeah.
It's all there. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
pretty good system. I'm pretty into health also, so I read that.
That's the biohack.
Yeah.
Hot showers and cocaine. And then a cold plunge starts the day.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a lot about the cold plunges and benefits of,
Yeah.
of like doing all that. So that's interesting. We still haven't done that. Like,
No, I know. We said we were going to do it. We haven't done
Yeah,
it.
do a podcast about it.
We should.
we should.
It's
Yeah.
great.
We should film it.
I highly
It's
recommend it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I honestly, I remember we had this conversation at one point because I was doing it really regularly, as were you, and I stopped for a while. I was like, I am not as happy as I was like 2
Huh.
years
It
ago,
has a
like,
huge
at all.
effect.
It like huge effect on your mood, on your ability to maintain. Like, I would have crashes throughout the day when I wasn't doing it. Just like I don't know, I felt great. So I don't know. There's a lot of scientific research on it now. I'm sure a lot of people can cite all sorts of different data points, but I think I realized that it feels really good.
I mean, I would believe that because I think everyone that, like, even Joe Rogan talks about it. He's like, man,
Yeah, he
I got to
loves
do
it.
my ice plunge or my day's fucked up. He says he doesn't feel as motivated. He doesn't want to go do the podcast. So like, there's something to it. We got to give this thing a go.
Yeah.
But like
It's
you said,
tough,
the
though.
ice,
It's
it's not
it
easy.
hurts.
And I'm sure you start at like a minute, right, and work your way up.
Yeah, and so you'll get the benefits to anything, I believe, below 60 degrees.
Below
Okay.
60.
Yeah, I was doing like 38 at one point.
Yeah, it gets intense when you're in the 30s, though. It's like,
It hurts.
yeah.
It's painful.
Like your whole skin turns red everywhere, and
Oh, yeah. Like in the winter, it was like, you'd be a snowstorm and be like, I'm getting in.
you're like perfect
Like,
time.
break the ice with an axe and, like, climb in there.
Some primal shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worry about shrinkage on that one. I think he would just say, I'm
Yeah,
out of
well,
here.
that's kind of how you can tell the temperature.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
You're like,
man,
man,
you
he's
know,
left
like
the
when
building.
you get out, it's like, okay, that one was like below 30.
And almost more than anything, though, the discipline it takes to get in when you know what you're doing, like that, getting
Yeah.
over that is, like, I feel like that's a huge mental barrier, and it allows you throughout your life to have more discipline in things that are hard
Totally.
because you're used to doing this thing every single day
That you don't
It's
wanna
really
do.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
it sucks.
It could be painful. You
Yeah.
know? It's like, and it's like just those small, it's like a few minutes, and like, just getting over that and getting in is just so powerful.
Because how much of things in life that are going to get us to where we want to go are like not the easy things to do. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
Majority.
pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you can help curb that resistance you have to doing those hard things, and if that can help you, I think that's what benefits a lot of people. who are
Totally.
doing it.
Yeah, it's like I always say, people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. And that would be an example of that. Like,
Yeah.
that
Totally.
shit's hard. People, I don't want to fucking be cold in 30-degree water and shit.
Yeah.
But then gaining the pain or the pleasure out of it is feeling good. You
Yeah.
know, getting your mind right. Because if it has those kind of mental effects, I'm sold. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
I've heard enough about it where I think I need to try it.
Yeah, I mean, I walk almost every day, and I like to swim, and I've noticed even just doing those workouts regularly, if I don't swim for like a week or two, like my mood is like dipping, and like I don't feel as good. And it's weird too, because it's like, you know, was I just like hanging out in this crappy mentality before I started doing that as part of my routine? And then like now that I added that stuff, now I realize like a boost and see that it's not as, so it's like there's like that psychology with it, because if you never started doing the cold plunges, would you not, you know,
You wouldn't know
You know what I'm
the
talking
other
about?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've had this like mental battle with that for a while because it's like, okay, now if I don't go to the gym and I don't like eat a certain way, I feel like garbage. Did I always feel that way before I started doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Or is it now the contrast between like how good I know I can feel versus how
Yeah.
I was feeling?
Yeah.
And now that I know that's possible, it's difficult to let myself slip back in that other thing. Or there's a lot of guilt that comes along with it. But is it like, did we feel that bad before, or now because we're doing all this stuff to make ourselves feel better, that the opposite of that is worse. I don't know. I still have such a dilemma with that.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something there. It's worth trying.
I mean, you're kind of experiencing it with booze a little bit.
Yeah,
right
getting
now.
off booze has been interesting.
How many months?
Well, so I stopped drinking on the podcast. It was what, week 3?
Mm-hmm.
So that was
week 3.
step 1. Because like
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to do it. I was so used to drinking and doing these shows and getting that liquid courage to talk to people and be creative or whatever. I'm like, if I can do that without booze, that's step 1. So that's gone, and that's 3 shows a week. And now it's just cutting back when I do drink. So like on the weekends when I'm watching the race or the football game or whatever, instead of having the whole 15 pack, let's maybe just have a couple few.
Yeah.
And then as we get closer to my 35th birthday here in 6 weeks, then I'm done. For the foreseeable future.
Nice,
I don't
cool.
want to say forever.
Yep.
Right. But I'm going to pump the brakes for a while and just see what that's like. Maybe get into ice plunging and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard one guy that I respect who quit was like, I'm just not doing it this year. He's like, I don't know, maybe I'll do it next year, but I'm not sure not doing it this year.
That's kind of where I want to try. And any progress there, I think, is good. Because Art, you did the same thing last year, with your relationship with booze. So there was a lot of drinking around this podcast
Yeah, because
when we first started.
we'd easily be drinking like fucking 10 beers a night, like every single night for months on end. And then
too much.
so the whole thing there is just like maybe I was just constantly hungover and I didn't realize how shitty I felt. But then once I stopped drinking that much,
You realize how shitty you felt.
yeah. And then you drink like 10. Like I didn't drink for like 2 months, and then like I went so hard when I started again. I drank like a whole fucking bottle of whiskey the first day after not drinking for 2 months, and I was hungover for like 5 days.
Yeah.
It was horrible. But then
it's
I
rough.
could like drink like that while I was drinking all the time, and like wake up and work and function the next day.
It's
It's kind of weird when you like dial it in how much you realized it was affecting you, but you were just like blind to it before.
It's breaking the habit,
Yeah.
really. Because there were so many times I'd come in here hungover as shit from partying the night before, and then I have a show to do. I'm in there slamming beers, gagging, just trying to get that buzz back.
Exactly.
Drinking
It's
because
like-
I had to.
You get to the point of feeling so shitty that
Something.
you need substances to feel
And
better.
that's where I knew I had a problem. I
Ride
was
that
like,
wave. Yeah, that's
we
tough.
got to tighten up. You
Yeah.
know, it's not easy, but so that's been my personal experience.
Right on.
Yeah.
So yeah, not to get too deep into that, but we do like to ask a question, and it's been a while since we've had 3 people on the other side.
I think it's a first.
to answer. Yeah, this might just be a DCPC first,
Yeah,
but
that's exciting.
this question is a good one. So, if each of you had one piece of advice to be able to help out all of humanity, like let's say everybody on the planet hears this podcast and your piece of advice, what would your one piece of advice be to help humanity?
I think practice self-awareness and checking in on yourself, because I really think as much as we can change other people, the real change is with yourself. So as long as you're aware of your behaviors, how they're affecting you, how you're feeling about them, how they're affecting other people, and you just handle that, if everyone were to do that, I think we'd have a very great and peaceful world.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
great.
that.
That's
Yeah.
really great. I would say cultivating discipline is probably the most important thing that anybody could ever do with their life, because everything you want is on the other side of all the work that you haven't done yet or you're resisting doing. And that you can have like any reality you want of your life, like so many different possibilities. You can have any of those realities, but it's going to come at the price of putting in the work to do that. So like being able to cultivate some sense of discipline to get you where you want to go, I think that is the thing that stands between people that are stuck and the people that kind of achieve the things they want. Is that.
Okay, I like that.
Good stuff.
I like that. Brennan, what you
Ryan's
got?
gonna have something funny. I feel like.
No, I mean, really not. I'm trying to come up with something that's, like, actually helpful. I mean, like, the idea of, encouraging other people to, like, better the world or better themselves in the world, which then has a profound effect on, like, the people around them and stuff. So, I guess, just be kind. And then for people who are pessimistic, I would say, like, find the silver lining. Like, there's a lot of people who have a opinion of the future that it's not going to be well, and like that maybe that drives some of their behaviors. But so it's like, all right, well, if the rest of it is shit, then today's the best day ever. Like, so treat people kind today. Like, enjoy and like enjoy the time that you have. Like, if you're beating yourself up about not doing one thing. Like, enjoy the thing that you are doing in the absence of that. And I don't know. Yeah, just be present and kind. And I feel like if enough people do that, then we'll be in a happier world, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
No, I like it because we have the awareness, self-acknowledgement, like to have that self-awareness and like self-conversation and like actually look yourself in the mirror and admit that shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's not an easy task.
Nope.
And like, sitting in a quiet room by yourself, like no music, no nothing, and like listening to yourself, like and being comfortable with that self-dialogue is super important. And then having the discipline to maintain it and like, because we like have this whole thing that we push here, we didn't come up with it, but it's like this 5-second rule where like your intuition tells you the right thing to do. It might be extremely difficult to do, and you have like 3 to 5 seconds before your consciousness tries to talk you out of this,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like the discipline to actually act upon these difficult tasks. That will test who you are. And then beyond those two things, we also have the ability to like, with that, being able to help people and like reach the people with that discipline and like share it, like because you could do all this stuff like a monk style and not share it with anybody, but then if you're sharing this journey, then you will have a bigger impact. That's the Evanoff impact.
Thanks for summing that up,
Yeah,
Art.
that's an Evanoff impact right there.
I know. I was going to say my advice for humanity, because I've given a lot of these, of course, is to follow Evanoff.
There you go.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for having
hanging
us
out.
today.
What's the
Yeah,
tour
great
looking like?
chat.
Where are you going? Cities coming up? Anything here in Colorado? We want to come check
We
you out
are,
live, maybe.
We've had so much time on the road the last couple of years, so we are focusing right now on releasing a ton of music that
Nice.
we've been slacking on that. That's been a part of our business that we haven't been
Yeah.
doing very well at. So we're going to be rolling out a ton of new music, writing a bunch of new music. Then the next big show is August 17th.
17th.
August
17th?
16th.
17th.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it's
8,
16.
17. It adds up its math.
August 16th or 17th at Meow Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, Meow Wolf?
Yeah.
Nice. I have to check that out. Or you're going to be in Sweden that time, huh?
I think I will be in Sweden.
It's fine. I'll
Oh,
go.
just bring them.
Yes.
Bring them.
Bring
them.
them.
Love Sweden.
Bring the
Lots of
country.
great
Yeah,
people.
That'll be a fun
But
show.
that's the next big local show. We do
Okay.
1 or 2 big local hometown throwdowns every year, and so
Yeah.
that's always a good
That's
time.
epic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool
but
with that
really
stuff.
excited. First time there. We are figuring out a lot of like VIPs and ways that we can rework songs that people know, and then hopefully introducing a lot of new music. So
Yeah.
if you're in the Denver area and want to come to a cool venue and see us play, that's the show to go to.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to leave all these links in the show notes below so everyone can check you guys out. But where's the plugs at? Where do you want to send people?
Follow us at on Instagram, Evanoff_music.
Check out our website.
Yeah.
Evanoffmusic.com.
Yeah.
That's probably the 2 best places to find
Okay.
everything you need, because that's where we host everything and
And
post all
if
our
you're
stuff,
watching
and-
it, like hit us up. Like we run the page. We're
Yeah.
a completely independent band, so you shoot a message, one of us is gonna see it,
Nice.
and then we can give you all the deets from there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll put all that down below, so definitely get in touch with these guys. Check out their music. It's good stuff, man. It's definitely going on my playlist now. I'll be rocking
yeah.
out to you guys.
Oh yeah, stream it on Spotify.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah, we'll try to put those links
and
in
we'll
there.
leave YouTube in there too. Like we'll get people on there,
Yeah,
and
that's easy
everybody listen, check it out. Like I was listening to their music right before we started recording this,
It's good.
and I was jamming in the car coming over here. Like it's good stuff, and it's fun because it's like I'm about to be talking to these guys, and getting to know them. So it's awesome to get to know all 3 of you on a more personal level, and we're gonna stay in touch. You're in the
Awesome.
you're in the
Wheelhouse.
DCPC wheelhouse now, and
Sweet.
like all of our listeners and people who support us love to see repeat guests and see how your journey is progressing. And so we usually do like once a year, and I'm sure in the next year the amount of things that you accomplish will be immense, and it's going to be awesome to check in.
Cool,
Sweet.
man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might do a live podcast. That's something we've been exploring a little bit, like maybe having some people on or whatever. Kind of running our own gig that way, and that might be something we look at collaborating on in
Cool.
the future.
That'd be fun,
That's
man.
great.
We'll
So,
show up.
Little teaser there.
Yeah.
Something that we can,
Nice.
get in the works here coming up. So right on, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Be good to yourselves.
You deserve it. And check out Evanoff ASAP.
Thank you.
All right, cool, man.
Nice.
Awesome, guys.
15.
Yep.